I want to talk to you today about how to spot a false prophet. I want to teach you who these people are and what they look like. My targets range from those who deny spiritual gifts and miracles to prognosticators of religious ideas. A con man isn't always fast talking and wearing a plaid suit. He may be your favorite YouTube influencer. So what exactly is a false prophet? There are many different kinds of false prophets, but I want you to watch out for wolves in sheep's clothing. And listen carefully as I give you several examples. Everyone on YouTube is an expert. Just ask them. They'll tell you. No matter what your problem in life, they have an answer. I call this the arrogance of the uninformed. In times past, before the advent of social media, our spiritual and cultural touchstones were pastors, priests, educators, the educated, and the experienced. Today, any 20 or 30-something with a microphone and a ring light and a camera can exposit on anything with apparent confidence. They know something you don't, and for an algorithm, they will tell you. If their self-proclaimed knowledge about anything and everything is just hubris, well, that's laughable. But when the topic is spirituality, it can be deadly and deceiving. When what goes on the internet has no proctor and no filter, millions can be misguided instantly. Scan what is trending any day and hear the voices of certitude. No qualifiers, no documentation, no certification. Remember the adage, if it's in print, it must be true. Today, if it's on the internet, it must be so. It can be funny or frustrating if the topic is something like how to eat burnt toast or the 50 best ways to leave your lover. But when the topic has eternal consequences and the pundit is cloaked in spiritual authority, that is downright dangerous. That's why we need to know how to spot a false prophet, a purveyor of spiritual error who seems perfectly trustworthy. I'm not speaking about the biblical ways of determining a false prophet. That's another topic. Such as the prophets who said God told them that Trump would win. And most of them are still giving forth other prophecies, not about Trump, but other politicians. Words and results must match. Deuteronomy 18:22 puts it this way in the NIV. If what a prophet proclaims in the name of the Lord does not take place or come true, that is a message the Lord has not spoken. In this blog, I'm going to be speaking of false prophets in a broader sense. Internet experts who make unsupportable claims. Here are 4 examples of such false prophets. 1. The theological expert on spiritual gifts. He quotes Bible verse after Bible verse without any empirical evidence for his conclusions. I call this exegesis without evidence. Our spiritual gifts for today are 300 million Pentecostals and another 350 million charismatics, all misguided. To say that some are imbalanced or that a faction is misled is one thing, but dismissing hundreds of millions of people who claim a valid supernatural relationship with God is disingenuous. Many are Catholics, liturgical adherents, and former cessationists who now embrace what they once derided. Second kind of false prophet. Preachers who claim that Christians can't have demons and exorcisms aren't needed. They're all over the internet. Well, I've documented more than 50,000 cases of exorcisms spanning 5 decades, yet not one naysayer who denies deliverance has ever sat by my side for a day and witnessed the agony of the victim's spiritual torment and their joy from being set free. Almost all of these clients are verifiably saved people who manifested demons. Deniers of deliverance need to engage in spiritual battle, roll up their sleeves, and help restrain a spirit of murder with supernatural strength. Until they're willing to do that, they speak as false prophets. And then, number 3, there are the false prophets of the New Age. They're the worst. They prey on people who are often broken and vulnerable. They promise that this crystal or that chakra balance will solve everything. And when that doesn't work, they advise you to call up your kundalini, astral travel to another dimension, or meditate until you are immersed in the universe. These false prophets never give full disclosure that many people who have tried these techniques have had mental breakdowns and other psychological problems. Some have become psychotic. Others have left family and friends to follow a guru. Worse yet, many have become invaded by evil spirits and they are constantly tormented. The fourth kind of false prophet is the itinerant preacher who has no accountability. I spend much time ministering to demonized people who got their demons from someone they thought was a man or woman of God. Prophet so-and-so laid hands on them and prophesied great things. Before you give in to such gullibility about self-proclaimed prophets, consider this. Who is their mentor? What is their theological education? Have they written books or published texts of their teachings that can be reviewed? To whom are they accountable? Is there a credible Christian leader who could vouch for them? How long have they been in the ministry? What other prophecies have they uttered that didn't come to pass? When it comes to false prophecies, there's no substitute for due diligence and a little bit of research. Remember, if a prophet promises and doesn't deliver, he isn't speaking with the Lord's imprimatur. If his facts aren't correct, if his information isn't well researched, and if his doctrine is metaphysical or that of a spiritualist, run away from such a person. They are not speaking for God, and they may be prophesying for the devil.
Your financial support and prayers make it possible for us to bring hope for the hurting and freedom to those in spiritual bondage. For the latest information regarding ministry outreaches, go to boblarson.org or call 303-980-1511.